Hello, welcome to Dungeon Growers Podcast. I'm your host Joseph. Today, for April Fool's Day, or April 1st, whatever, I thought I should probably review an April Fool's horror movie, and there are a couple. And the one I chose is April Fool's Day 1986, which is a horror mystery. It's an hour and 30 minutes. It's directed by Fred Walton and starring uh, Amy Steele as Kit, who you'll know from the second Friday the 13th movie, which is this movie gets called a Friday the 13th ripoff, which is probably undeserving because of its cool twist at the end of the movie. You have Deborah Foreman as Muffy Buffy, Deborah Goodrich as Nikki, Clayton Rodner as Chaz, who this guy's been in a bunch of horror movies and TV shows like Star Trek. Thomas F. Wilson as Art, who you'll know as, which is named Butch from Back to the Future. Leia Pinsent as Nan, Griffin O'Neill as Skip St. John, and Ken Olandt as Rob. Wasn't this guy in Friday the 13th? Oh no, he was in Leprechaun. My bad. Oh, no wonder he looks so fucking familiar. I thought that guy was in. I thought he was in, like, the wheelchair. I thought he was the wheelchair guy from, like, one of the Friday the 13th movies. No, he was in Leprechaun, that was the last horror movie we reviewed. Right. Huh. And the rest of the cast is not important. So this movie has some interesting background behind it, which I'll have to get into the story first. So basically, Muffy invites her college friends to a remote mansion in an island for a weekend party. And what happens on the ferry? On the boat, Thomas F. Wilson's character Arch and Griffin O'Neill's character Skip St. John are playing this game with this it's like kind of like a switchblade, with this switchblade, and the one dude Arch keeps losing, right? He keeps losing, so like that. He takes the knife, gives it back to Skip. They're throwing it back at each other, and it's like, because like the one dude doesn't want to pay, but the guy's like wants to force him to play, and they're throwing it back at each other. And you're like, oh my god, are these people fucking retarded? And what ends up happening is the one dude, Arch, throws it too fast and hard and stabs the dude in the stomach. He falls off the boat. Ken Olandt's character Rob and another guy who was on the boat jump in after him, right? And it turns out it was a prank by the two guys. The guy had like something strapped to his stomach to protect him from the knife, even though that in itself is kind of still fucking risky. But yeah, it was an April Fool's prank. The one dude gets on the boat, and Rob gets on the boat. Who's like is that the boyfriend? Yeah, that's the boyfriend of Kit, our kind of main character, I would say. Right? And the other guy's on the boat. He earlier on he was playing this game with this rope, where he was trying to lasso lasso this thing on the boat, and he's trying to do that on the dock, right? It's still in the water. Ends up getting pinned between the boat and the dock. Why he couldn't just go underneath the dock, swim underneath the dock or something? Well, we know, but gets hit, and then he gets pulled out of the water. And he jumps out of the water screaming, and he gets hit in the side of the head, and one of his eyeballs is hanging off his head, his eye socket. He's screaming. They get him to shore. The sheriff's there, grabs a boat, takes him back to the mainland. So everybody gets off the boat, and they're just like, they're a little obviously shooken up by blinding the fucking dude. And when they get back to the mansion, they sort of forget about it and start, like, you know, hooking up with each other, partying, bullshit. And one by one, our characters die, and then there's a huge twist in the movie that I'm not going to spoil right now. But I would say, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. But if I'm just gonna have to give it a rating. But I should mention, I should give it a rating before I spoil anything. But I should mention that a lot of the deaths in this movie happen off screen, and there's not really a lot of gore, right? And though I really enjoyed our characters and their interactions with each other, and they kind of hint at this mystery thing going on throughout the movie, which you knew right away that there was going to be some kind of twist or whatever when somebody's like, "Hey, this looks like the setting of the Agatha Christie novel." Which I haven't read any Agatha Christie novels, but I've watched movies based off her work, and they're pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, especially Identity, which I reviewed. So I really enjoyed this movie and the twist, but I should mention that a lot of horror movie fans hated the fucking twist for this movie, and I'm about to go into why. But if I were to give this movie a rating, I personally loved the twist. I thought it was entertaining. It's not something you see very often, and you know, it kept the movie from being like your standard boring slasher film, which I'm going to be honest, I really don't like slasher movies. I find them fucking boring. Unless there's like a whodunit, you know. Unless they make it so it's not too obvious who the killer is without cheating. But again, a lot of the time they do that bullshit. So I'm giving this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. So before I spoil anything, I should mention that there's a bit of art imitating life or some shit. Or like life imitating art in this movie, because apparently the guy Griffin O'Neill, the guy who plays Skip, who caused the boating accident in the movie, apparently caused a boating accident in real life where he was shooting a movie with Francis Ford Coppola, right? And he went on a boating. Him and Francis Ford Coppola's son, Giancarlo, went on a boat, right? And our retard, the retard, was trying. There was two boats that were like, there was these two boats that were connected to each other by tow line, and what's Griffin O'Neill did not realize that and tried to get in between the tow line. When he realized what happened, he was able to duck in time, but Giancarlo wasn't so lucky and was killed. So after killing Francis Ford Coppola's son, Giancarlo, Griffin O'Neill had to like quit the movie. Well, he asked to leave, obviously, but that obviously hurt the dude's career, because, like, you know, he hasn't been anything big since, and like he's had a few problems with the law, with like drinking and driving and domestic abuse. So yeah, I'm drinking like fruit punch, Minute Maid. People don't know. Yeah, I got this thing stuck in my throat. It's really annoying me. Yeah, so the twist in the movie is it was all an elaborate prank by Muffy. There was no crazy serial killer's sister. It was all a prank, where she's going to inherit this mansion, but her dad wants to sell it, so she wants to keep it. So she's going to turn the fucking mansion into like, you know, a dinner, like one of those murder dinners where people roleplay that one of them is killed and and everybody has to try to solve the mystery. She's going to do that with the mansion, and she has like a script, and like the one guy who everybody thought was hit with a boating accident and lost his eye was actually like a makeup artist who was part of the prank, right? And he came up with all the props with all the dead bodies and stuff. So I don't know. I really like the twist, but a lot of like I said, like a lot of people hate it. But it's the thing where like the movie is pretty original, and there's not a lot of movies that have done that. So it's kind of cool that you have like this horror movie where at the end you find out, oh yeah, nobody died, which explains why in the movie you never saw any of the kills, because nobody was getting killed. But I did think it was kind of stupid, because they do a fake out at the end of the movie where one of the girls grabs Muffy in her bedroom and like slits her throat, and it turns out to be a fake knife that squirts like blood. So it's like, what the fuck, dude? That was a little dumb. Like, you should have just ended the movie like that scene earlier. We didn't really need that, but I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie, and it's on BitChute if you want to watch it on Critical Show. Who Critical is critical as in ghoul as in the, you know, flesh eating monsters. Yeah, he's this guy who has a horror host show on BitChute where he actually shows the movies. So yeah, that's where if I'm ever in the mood to watch like 80s like horror movies, or which he has some 90s horror movies, I go to his BitChute channel. So yeah, check that out, guys. And oh, I forgot to mention that we got a shout out by Daz, the comics key creator. Let me double check. Yeah, that's his YouTube channel. No, sorry, not creator, chaser. Daz, the comic key chaser, who's a guy who I really enjoy his content. He basically does comic book movie news, comic book hauls, where he shows off like rare and expensive comics that he owns, and they're pretty cool videos. So if you're into comic book stuff, make sure to check out his channel. Alright guys, that's it for this review.